He was loving, attentive, and thoughtful, when he wasn't being a supercilious moron or London's most notorious male escort. I drop my head on a sigh. Landing myself with one hooker is bad luck. 2? Well, that's just unreasonable of the gods. She reaches over and squeezes my knee. I hope you didn't entertain him with a reply. I couldn't even if I wanted, which I don't, I say, pulling myself up. Why? My phone's broken. I leave Sylvie on the couch with a wrinkled brow and no further explanation. All I've told her about my breakup with Miller is that there was another woman. It's just easier that way. The truth is unspeakable. When I enter the kitchen, Dell and Paul are laughing like hyenas, each with a vicious knife in one hand and a cucumber in the other. What's so funny? I ask, making them both halt their happy tittering, their faces morphing into a wash of pity as they each assess my weak body and mental state. I stand quietly and allow them to reach the only conclusion there is. I still look whitewashed. Dell's the one to snap back into action, pointing his knife at me, clearly making himself smile. Livy can judge. She'll be fair. Judge what? I ask, taking a step away from the blade. Paul pushes Dell's hand down on a tisк and smiles at me. We're having a cucumber chopping competition. Your silly boss here thinks he can beat me. I don't mean to, but I laugh. It makes both Paul and Dell jump back a little, shocked. I've seen Paul slice a cucumber, or I try to see. His hand is a blur of motion for a few seconds, until the vegetable is splayed out neatly, each slice perfect. Good luck. Dell smiles brightly at me. I don't need luck, Livy, sweetheart. He spreads his legs and lays his cucumber down on the chopping board. Say when? Paul rolls his eyes at me and stands back, a wise move judging by the hold Dell has on the knife. Are you ready to time it? He asks, handing me a stopwatch. Is this a regular thing? I take it and reset the display. Yup, Dell answers, focusing on the cucumber. He's beat me on a pepper, onion, and lettuce, but the cucumber's mine. When? Paul shouts, and I immediately press down to start the timer as Dell flies into action, bringing the knife down repeatedly and savagely on the poor cucumber. Done, he yells out of breath, looking over at me. He's broken out in a sweat. What did I get? I look down. 10 seconds. Pow! He jumps into the air and Paul immediately confiscates the knife from him. Beat that, Mr. Master Chef. Piece of cake, Paul claims, taking up position by the chopping board and scraping away the dismembered cucumber before setting his own down. Say when? I quickly reset the timer, just in time for Dell's. When? Paul, as I knew he would, sails through the cucumber with finesse and control, as opposed to Dell's heavy-handed massacre. Done, he declares calmly, no sweat and no heavy breathing, which defies his overweight frame. Looking down at the stopwatch, I mentally smile. 6 seconds. Get out of town, Dell shouts, marching over to me and snatching the watch from my hand. You must have cocked up. I did not. I actually laugh. And anyway, Paul sliced, you hacked. He gasps, and Paul laughs with me, giving me an endearing wink. So, now I have the pepper, the onion, the lettuce, and the cucumber. Paul takes a marker pen and puts a big tick through a basic picture of a cucumber on the wall. Bullshit, Dell grumbles. If it wasn't for the tuna crunch, you'd be history buster. Dell's moodiness only increases our laughter, both of us chuckling as our boss stomps off. Clean up, he shouts back to us. Boys, I muse. Paul smiles fondly. It's good to see some spirit, darling. He gives me an affectionate rub.